Well, finally got the track, suspension, and drive shaft out of the VMAX, and it didn't come out easy, but we got her out there. There's not much room, but yeah, after looking at the drive shaft, there's not much room here, so my plan of taking this, loosening it off, and then shoving it in and all that stuff to access it, that's not going to work to access this cover. And also, yeah, I thought about it and I realized there's also going to be a rotor here, so it's not just going to go in. So that's not going to work because this isn't going to slide over very far. It's going to hit on the tunnel. So I mean, this side it would, but it's going the opposite way because this is going that way, so that wouldn't slide at all. So the solution I came up with is cutting more stuff, of course. So what I'm going to do is cut down here and make this side panel here that's covering up the chain case, make this removable. Like build a little mount here like that, and make this just bolt on, take off, and kind of like they do on the newer sleds where the sides come off, I guess, to work on them. So it's not a brand new idea, but definitely weird for an old sled. But yeah, so just cut it down here, make this whole panel come off. That way I can access this, because I want this sled to be easy to work on, because that was the whole point, is to make this nice and easy to work on and whatever. Not that I'll have to do it a lot, hopefully, but yeah, so just remove this. That way I can access this. I don't have to take the chain case off. I can just take the cover off and boop 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 and work on it, and it'll be much better. That's definitely the way to go. And then I can put this in and take it out, no problem, no big deal. And yeah, that's the new plan. So first I'm going to put a little brace in here to stop this from getting all tweaked, and that'll be the basis of my mount for this anyway, so it'll be a good start. And yeah, that's the plan. So drive shaft out. So once we get this modified here, we can take this cover off, work this drive shaft in after we cut the holes in the tunnel, because the holes yeah, they don't line up at all. The old holes right here and up, and we need to move back here and down. So hopefully these are big drivers. What are they, like 11 tooth or something? Let's check it out. Geez, it's hard to count. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, they're 9-tooth drivers, but I mean the aftermarket ones are 8 and 7, much smaller, but that's okay. We don't need a whole lot of power, because I mean we don't need to gear it down. But this is the track. Turn the light on over here. This is the track we're putting in. Be a nice baby. It's a 144 by 15 2-inch paddle, 252 drive to match the Yamaha drive shaft. So it should move some snow pretty good. It's already got the tunnel extension on it. I'm gonna redo it though and cut this bar and turn it up and make it level, because it tilted down, because it used to be slanted down like that, so it's slanted and leveled out, but now it's just gonna sit more level, so that's gonna be pointed down back there. So I'm just gonna level that out so that'll look right. You can see how it's tilted down, so we're gonna tilt that up. That'll be better. But yeah, she's cut the side panel, drive shaft, and try the track today. Pretty excited. Okay, where we're at with the drive shaft chain case setup. I got this notched out so I can work on it. Cut my hand on the side of there. That's pretty sharp, so that was super. I did a piss poor job of lining up these holes. That's the original hole, and that's all I made, but it needs to be up and forward some, so it needs to be like rounded out. I mean, not that high, but just a little bit. And then the other one on the other side, I drilled from the inside because the clutch was in the way, and it needs to be down and forward some. So I mean, it's off like quarter inch or so. So I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's hard to line up with nothing to reference other than looking through this hole and guessing. But anywho, that's not the major deal. The major deal is yeah, where this chain case is spaced out with these spacers, that makes the drive shaft too short. Because yeah, I guess then what I'm realizing is that's a 17-inch tunnel, not an 18-inch tunnel. But still, this one over here is 16. But the chain case was tight against this side, and the clutch was hanging over on this side, because I mean, you get the room, which I did not have. I put it tight against here, so it was hanging out over here. So that made me push the drive shaft this way, or the jack shaft this way, which makes the drive shaft too far over this way. So it's coming up short on this end a little bit because it's spaced out. So lots of options on what I could do. I could take this, I could shorten the jack shaft, and and maybe that's what I should do. And then the chain case would be tight against here, and they give me more room here and all that stuff. But what I'm gonna do is the wrong thing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's the right thing. Either way, shorten that and try to weld it together and whatever. Or what I'm gonna do is cut it here and lengthen this out some right here, because this is the side that's short on, because the chain case moved over, so it's short on this side. So this is hex, that's round, that's gonna be hard to keep straight. But this one, it's got square sides, so. And I can't modify this side because it has the speedo drive in it, and it's all round over here anyways. This section is round, and this is the side that's short on anyways. If I lengthen this side, then all the drivers would have to be pushed over, and just stupid. But if I just lengthen this side, then all the drivers will line up correctly anyway, because the chain case is moved over. This spot is in the chain case, so this is pulled out. So lengthen this, pull it over, and that'll be fixed. So lengthen this out, job fixed. But it's not, because like I was guessing before, this chain case is really short, the distance between them. And I have the drive shaft, or the jack shaft, lowered down as far as it can. It's sitting almost right on the top of the tunnel. And with the hole down there, even still, I'm looking at, with these 9-tooth drivers, I think that's what it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, with these stock 9-tooth drivers, I have about 1.5 inches of tunnel clearance between the top of here and the tunnel. And I have too much track, so the math ain't mathing on that one. This was a 3/4 track, so that was totally fine. Had like 3/4 inch clearance. Great. But I'm running that 2-inch track over there, so that's no bueno. These are a 7-inch tall driver. So I went on Walbros, and they have a 7-tooth driver for this shaft. I've used their drivers before. They work really good. And they have the non-slip, the little stud in the middle, the little pegs in the middle that go in the track windows to actually drive it so it don't slip when you're really getting the grip, and I really like that. So what you do is you eliminate these outside drivers. I mean, you take them all off, but you're eliminating these outside drivers, so you weight reduction and the rotating mass, and then you just put in 2 drivers in the middle, so they drive off the lugs in the middle, and then they drive off the windows too, and there's steel there, right? So yeah, so you get better traction with your drivers, and it won't slip and it won't ratchet if you want to run your track a little loose or whatever. You're making big power and you're saving weight because you're taking two outside, one off. And that will, and those 7-inch drive or 7-tooth drivers are 5.5 inches tall. So that's 1.5 inch difference. That's 1.5 inch difference overall. So that's 3/4, clearance from the top added to my 1.5 inch, which makes 2.25. So that'll give me 2.25 inch tunnel clearance for a 2-inch track. 1/4 inch clearance ain't much. This one had, well, I don't know what this one had actually, but if I ran a 3/4 track on this, which would be garbage, it would have lots of clearance. But yeah, with the 2-inch track, with the smaller drivers, with the pegs in them, which will be better anyways, it'll make it geared lower too, which will make a difference. Because I mean, you got to think about it like big tires or whatever like that. You get a taller track, it's making it taller, so it'll be geared higher if it actually fit. So you gear it, gear this down, and then fill it up with the track, and it'd be the same height anyway. So yeah, so I'm gonna order some 7-tooth 5.5 inch tall drivers, get rid of these 9-tooth 7-inch drivers. That'll give me a 1/4 inch tunnel clearance for the 2-inch track, and that should fix the problem. Other than extending this, like I said, I could just shorten the jack shaft and move the chain case in, but I need that room for the rotor. Actually, I keep forgetting about that. I need room for the rotor, and there won't be if I narrow the jack shaft. So I'm gonna have to lengthen this, which is really no big deal. I mean, all this is just garbage anyways. This is all that goes in the chain case, so this is just useless space. So make this a little longer. I'm gonna guess it's probably the 1 1/4 they space that out. I mean, that would just make sense. But yeah, so I got some extra shafts. There's many different sizes. 1 1 1/8, 1 1/16, 1 1/4. Or this is 1 1/16, I believe. Maybe the other Olympic or Citation drive shaft is the same size. Probably not. But I mean, geez, if it's only 1 inch compared to 1 1/16, I mean, I could slide that in there and do whatever, and then just build up to 16th around it. I mean, Jesus, this doesn't touch anything anyways. Don't matter. There's no bearing on there or nothing. So I mean, really wouldn't matter. But yeah, so we'll lengthen this out, get the smaller drivers, and adjust these holes, and we'll be back on track. But yeah, definitely not going as planned. But I mean, it'd be cool to have this window removed and wherever. A lot more room to work on it, so that'd be cool. I had to do that anyway because I'm not shortening the jack shaft. I'm lengthening this, and more problems. If that was just longer, it would fix a lot of problems, but I don't want to get a new chain case because it fits that, it fits this. I know what this stuff's from, and it's got reverse, so smaller drivers, extend that piece. I mean, extending this piece is my fault because of the setup, but the drivers being too short is that's a problem. So yeah, we'll lengthen that out, shorten these, and we'll be back on track. Well, I just kind of dove into the drive shaft extension here. This is from the original Olympic, I believe, or maybe it's the Citation. I don't really remember. Anyways, it's hex shaft, so that worked out perfect. So I cut a 1.25 inch chunk out of that, which is how far the chain case is moved over, and tapered it all in, welded it all up, and there's the extension. And why I wanted to extend the hex shaft is so you can put it in the vise and keep it square. Hold on the sides, tack it, roll it, tack it, and just keep clamping it. And it actually turned out pretty straight. I ain't got no lathe or any of them
fancy machine and tools. Now I just gotta fill in these little divots and imperfections until it's all solid size, just like that. You can see you got some imperfections there. Didn't weld it all the way. But yeah, weld these up, buff it smooth, and almost never know what's happened. And this is now extended 1.25 inches. And when I had it tacked up, I put it in there and measured it, and it fits perfect. 1.5 inch gap here, 1.5 inch gap here on the tunnel, perfectly square in there. And yeah, so we'll finish welding that up. And there's an extended drive shaft. Here we get the suspensions. This is the 121 out of the VMAX, and this is the 141, which is out of my 2012 XF 1100. That I already swapped in that years ago, so I could put the 139 track in there, the old style one. And this suspension just sucks. Like this, the skid's not bad. It's just this air shock does. It maxed out 150 psi, and even at that, like you can't ride by yourself without bottoming out, let alone two people. So this is just dog shit. And this front shock is super short, so the front end is pulled up, so it makes it rake down, and it just doesn't transfer in wheelie. Like, it's always dog shit. Like 200 horsepower sled, like, won't wheelie. It's not that it won't, like, it's just not easy. So what I'm gonna do is, that is a brute, a tank, hardly squat at all. So I'm gonna take this front spring, taller front spring, so I can pick the front end up, push that track down to the front, and then maybe use this longer heavy duty spring, because it didn't squat, it worked really good. See if I can fit that in here. Might have to adjust the mounts because that one looks a little longer, maybe not. But yeah, swap out those taller heavy duty springs for these little shitty ones, because this thing sucks. This was always the problem I had. I hated this suspension. I don't weigh that much, and like, I'd sit on it, bottom it out, so 2 up, absolutely not an option. And I'd like to ride 2 up on this thing. That'd be nice. So yeah, we're gonna swap these out and see if they fit. See how much modifying we gotta do, but it's nothing new. It's exhaust day at the shop here, and getting this exhaust figured out, and doesn't go as planned, of course, but I got these springs on there, got this sweet little pad mounted, and this bracket, so that's nice and solid. And then we got this piece cut off, and the spring there mounted. And it's not going to come out here because the chain case is in the way. I thought it was just going to come out here and just out this hole that it used to come out. But yeah, just like when I was going to put the radiator there, and then all this crap getting in the way. Plans change. That's just how it goes. Try to do the most important things first. This had to be here. The exhaust don't have to be there. That don't matter. But I do have to do something. So I got this snaked in there like I did, mounted. Awesome. Got this. And then I put a 180. It's coming around, loop back around. It's going to go this way. Then I got lots of just dead space right here. So I'm just going to 180 it and then run it back this way and then put a muffler right there. I am going to put a muffler there. I didn't buy a muffler or anything like that. I mean, the MBRP can sounded pretty cool on that XC700. That sounded pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to make stuff because that's what I do. I mean, I could just straight pipe it, I guess. But I don't know. That sounds cool. But I mean, I want to hear it. But maybe I'll straight pipe it later. I don't know. But anyways, we're going to do some kind of deal. Is this going to be a stupid idea? Maybe. We'll see. I got this old catalytic converter here. It was off my 18 Silverado. This is the primary, the third cat. I'm sorry, third cat. And I just cut the end off it here. And then this is that. And cut a piece of steel there to cap the end off. And then I had this old baffle laying around. But you can see through it pretty good. I mean, through the little pieces there, but I added a few extra holes just in case. I don't want it to be all bunged up and not flow, right? That would be sucky. So there's lots of holes in it. Should be okay. So my plan is take this, weld this to this end plate, so that way it can't go straight out. It has to come in and then filter out through these holes. It can't just blast out. It has to hit the back plate and then expand out, so that'll make it quiet. So that's the plan. So weld that to that. Slide this on here like so. Weld around there, and then take this little piece of 3-inch, because this is the same size I need. So got this cut up here. Get this cut up. So I'll expand it on this end to fit around this bigger size. That's like 4-inch probably, and then this is like 2 1/4. So then I'll swell it on this side, shrink it on this side, slide that over there, and that'll be that. And weld that to that, and then that to that, and that'll be good. And then this piece will hook on here, and then it'll come out and then go into the muffler there. And oh, it's blocked off. How's that gonna work? What I'm gonna do is on this bottom side here, gonna hole saw it, and then get a little stub and weld onto that, and that way the muffler will be something like this. I'll grab it here. It'll sit in there, something like that. And then instead of coming out there, it's going to be capped off, right? And come in here, in there like that, have the baffle in there, and filtered, and then it's just going to go straight down. Cut a hole in the pan and go straight down. Actually, the original Olympic exhaust did have a pipe across and exit out the bottom. So, I mean, kind of throwback to the vintage style, I guess. A lot of the old sleds did that. Dumped out the front of the pan. So, yeah. Again, limited for room. 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, but that's okay. So, yeah, link that up like that with that pipe. And then dump it straight down. Hole saw, dump it straight down. That'll be pretty neat. It should still be pretty loud, because I mean there's no fiberglass packing or anything. It's just deflecting sound. But yeah, we'll see what it sounds like. And gonna be a while before we start it up, but we can get this muffler banged out one thing at a time. Got the suspension all built and swapped over. Got this sucky shock out. Terrible. And we got the VMAX rear shock in. It's quite a bit longer. I think this one was 16 something, and this one was 18 and a half, I think. So that's the hole that the Fox shock was in. So I just drilled a new hole and put that in there. Cut this link bar, pivot bar, whatever you want to call it. Cut that and lengthen it out. That extra couple inches there. And yeah, so that should be a nice rugged spring. And let me carry more weight, because this thing sucks. And then this front one, I got this little short guy out. Got this longer one in. And yeah, that should pick up the front end of the or not pick it up, but push the track down, which gives me more track clearance in the front. Where I got that lifted up, I want more room. I don't want the track all tucked up into the front. I want it pushed down. So there's that all done. And, turned out pretty sweet. Not too many modifications. I had to get rid of this aluminum piece, and that was bent anyways, and that was sucky. So I had to put this piece in there from the VMAX and weld on these little supports there to stop this from pivoting and turning, and then bolt it in. So that's all locked in, and that's Should be nice and rugged. So yeah, there's that. All done. Well, I gotta put some bearings in it and stuff, and get that all done out, but the conversion part's done. Now it's just the maintenance part. Here's the exhaust I was building. Got this all done. Got the loop around, and then this is that little dump I was talking about. It's got that little baffle in there that's blocking all the flow and capped at the end, and then it feeds out this little hole. Got a little mount on there, nice and rugged. And I just put this shield on here. We'll call it a heat shield. It's more of a beauty shield, I guess, because I don't know, that kind of look wonky, I guess. With this shield on top, kind of flows into the can better and looks a little nicer. But yeah, let's put it on there, see what it looks like on the sled. And there it is, exhaust all mounted up. Back in there, 180s, clears the steering down in there. Clears the steering. Clears the rewind. And then, like I said, this is a beauty heat shield, whatever you want to call it. To make it blend in a little better, look a little nicer. There's my mount next to this other mount. Both rubber mounted, all awesome. Tucked in there. Like I said, we're running out of room. Mount this radiator next, I think. But yeah, it turned out awesome. And here it is, dumping right out the front. So that'll look pretty cool. A little vintage throwback, like the original muffler. Yeah, so while assembling everything together and trying to fit everything all in there, like I said, loop the muffler around and trying to find a place for the radiator and trying to fit everything in there and chain case, and I'm like, oh man, this is fitting great. Lots of room, lots of stuff. I don't think I could fit anything more in there. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What's this laying in the corner? Oh, a great big oil tank. Forgot all about that. Took that off and set that down. I was building everything, and I mean, it did go right in here against the gas tank, but geez, I don't know. I mean, it went there with the air box, so, but the motor was definitely way farther that way, so yeah, made a boo-boo there, but yeah, I ain't mixing gas, so yeah, we'll see if we can slide that puppy in there and make that happen. Oopsie. We'll see if we can fit that in there now. Update on the boo-boo. Yeah, so this is where the tank is supposed to go. It bolts to the gas tank. These little mounts right here, one on each side. And yeah, that's where it's supposed to go, but that's not happening, because that's right in the way of the jack shaft. That's jack shaft mounts right here, you know, go right into it. Yeah, so that sucks, because again, the motor's supposed to be 3 inches forward, so that's not good. So that's no big deal. It's not the end of the world. I mean, this just holds oil, and I mean, it doesn't have a pump on it or anything. The pump is here and everything, so it's no big deal. It's just gravity. So as long as I keep the oil above the bottom of the motor here, I think I can put the filters on here and make like a 2-piece tank, one on this side, one on this side, because I have lots of room like up here, not down there, and lots of room right here, just not here. So make it 2-piecer, one here and one here, maybe just one over here. I mean, depends on how much space it takes to fill up oil. I'm not sure how much that holds. I mean, 5 liters would be good, I guess. That's not very much, because the clutch is down here, the filter's there, so a little tank here or something. Not the end of the world, just gravity. It's just a line that hooks up to it. And then I can even rig up the sensor, I do believe. I mean, not sure. We'll see about that. And then this is just a little overflow tank for the radiator. That can be anything. That's no big deal. So let's get it come out of the way, and we'll have to custom build something as usual. And I mean, it figures. I mean, the rest of it's modified, so that's no big deal. But so that's no good. So we'll figure something out. So that comes out, and then moving on. Here we are on the jack shaft installation. Got this extended, the 1 1/4, got it all buffed down. Pretty hard to tell that it was ever extended. That's the beauty of it being square and putting it in the vise. That's awesome, got that done. So the jack shaft is now centered on each side. Now it's extended, that's all done, perfect. The other problem is this bearing, where this flange sits, and it holds the bearing, one on each side, clamps together and holds the bearing in the chassis. This right here had to be outside of the tunnel. The tunnel's too narrow, go figure. So the tunnel was about right here where it needed to be, not on this side. So no matter what hole I drilled and matched this up, it didn't matter. This would stick through fine, but this is always back and not fully seated like that. It was stuck back here and not actually holding the bearing. I mean, I could just move this bearing back on the shaft, I guess, but ooh, that's a terrible bearing. It's bad shape, but we'll change that out. But anywho, so to make things, I don't know, easier, I just cut a big hole, and the jack shaft can stick through. And then we got this plate with the bolt pattern drilled on it in the hole, so this can mount on there. And then jack shaft can stick through wherever it's got to stick through on there, and I can just slide this forward, backwards, up, down, whatever. And then with the spacing of this, it'll be on the right side. See, instead of it being on the back side of the tunnel, that thing, it'll be on this side of the tunnel. And the difference of the thickness of the tunnel, or this, or maybe I'll need to space out a little. Well, we'll see. But anywho, this will hold that jack shaft where it needs to be, and it'll be all good to go. So let's slide that in there and see how it fits. Finally got the drive shaft all in and installed. There's the 1 1/4 extension. You can see it needed it because of them spacers. So there's that done. Get out of here. And there it is. Now I'm going to change these drivers out. Gonna take all 4 of these out, and then just put 2 small drivers in the middle. Get rid of these 7-inch 9-tooth drivers and put in 5.5-inch 7-tooth drivers. Get them in there. Well, yeah, she's in there. That bearing's bad. But yeah, get her in there. All installed. Ain't got much room. Well, hopefully that'll change. But yeah, it's even this way. Just a little over 2 fingers there. 2 fingers right there. It's all nice and tight. Up and down, the front and back. That's all evened out. And I get that welded in over there. That took the longest time, was fitting this side. Trying to get that right, because this piece here had to be on the opposite side. It couldn't be on this side of the tunnel, so cut that all out and put the plate on the other side. And there it is, that plate I made. So we'll put it on the other side. Got it all welded in there. Not fully welded, but get it in there enough where I'll hold the drive shaft in the right spot. That all bolts on, so I can unbolt, the drive shaft come out. And there's that major hurdle out of the way. Jack shaft done, drive shaft done. So the clutches work and everything. And yeah, so once we get the new drivers in there, we can fit the track and the suspension that I made, fit that, fit the track, and that'll be mostly all of it, really. Other than mounting this radiator and the lines and stuff, that'll be pretty much it. This drive shaft was really the chain case and all this other stuff that it never had before was the main problem. But yeah, that's it. That's it for now.